This is Magical Moments, hosted by your favorite holistic wellness practitioner, Carla Reeves. Started with gratitude, ended with love. Magical moments are waiting for us. You can be next if you heal up your trauma. Carla gonna tell you what you need to follow. Locking, we getting you ready. Setting intentions and taking the heavy thoughts that been holding you down. This is the show that you'll be glad you found. Come get your magical moment.
All right, and welcome back to Magical Moments. This is episode 2. See, I told you guys I'm going to be consistent. We had episode 1, now we're on episode 2, and it's not like years later. So here we are. I am here today with Jamie Drew. She invited me to one of her groups called Blissful Journey Journals.
Yeah, Blissful Journaling Sanctuary.
Thank you.
Facebook
Blissful
group.
Journaling Sanctuary. And it really piqued my interest because, one, you guys know I have a journal out there. And two, I'm always not requiring, but kind of like gently suggesting that people get into journaling because it really is a good tool to have in your toolbox. So I was like, yes, like, thank you for inviting me. Let's do this. So
yes,
I'm part of the group. And you guys also know I do mindfulness and meditations. And if you know me, right? So we've also been doing live meditations in her group. And I post it to my YouTube and all that good stuff. So make sure you watch that too. But yeah, that's just a little bit of how I met Jamie. And I will let her introduce herself. So go ahead, introduce yourself and let the people know who you are.
Hello, Magical Moments family. As Carla said, my name is Jamie Drew, and I'm the founder of a company called The Bliss Code. And I have put that together for people to find their own personal bliss. I went through a journey where I was suffering from burnout and stress and compassion fatigue, if you've ever even heard that term. And I wanted to start a business based on soothing myself and passing that along to other people. So everything that I am is poured into the business. As Carla does, mindfulness, journaling is so important to me and so important to the process of self-discovery and self-mastery. So I teach mindset. Main character energy is one of the main things that I talk about. And it's all about having confidence and, knowing that you are the most important person in your life, putting yourself on a pedestal and finally putting yourself in first ranking, because we, especially as women and specifically Black women, are used to giving so much to other people. And I really felt that throughout my community and felt like we needed to start being selfish. And I wanted to be one of the ones spearheading that movement. So as Carla said, we have a bunch of different ways to connect with people. So one of them is the Blissful Journaling Sanctuary, where I have, I do daily prompts in there. And I also sell my own personal journals. They are journals that feature my artwork because I'm an abstract artist, and that's part of my personal mindfulness process. And I just really believe that creativity, mindfulness, nature, they just all go together so beautifully. And I'm really glad that I met you, Carla, because we are two of a kind, truly two of a kind.
Yeah, we really are. Now you guys can see
Yes.
why I'm like excited for this episode, because it's basically like, kind of looking in the mirror, like, yes, this is exactly everything you said.
Yeah, definitely. And that's important too. And that's why I created the community, because sometimes, and I'm glad that we're a global community now. The internet has really changed things, especially after the pandemic. We're just have so much more at our fingertips, so much more about community and just being able to connect with like-minded people, because the people that are into the same things as you may not be in your backyard. They may not be in your household with you. So just having that support system and having that accountability with other people like you is just, I mean, look at what we're doing now. We may not even be recording as many episodes of podcasts or doing live meditations if it wasn't for each other.
Exactly. And I love it. I so love it. I will put all of Jamie's information, down in the description thing, wherever you're listening to, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it is, all of the information is down there. So if you want to reach out to Jamie and get to know her a little bit better and, partake in her things, I'm all about sharing the wealth, right? I'm never like, oh no, because we both make journals. So I'm always like, hey, share the wealth. I'm not like, buy my journal over. No, absolutely not. Share the
Buy
wealth.
both of the journals, okay? Because they're different. Carla and I are different. You and I are different, Carla. And the products that we produce, although they have very like energy, they're different,
Exactly.
So support us both.
Exactly. I'm all about sharing the wealth, supporting everyone. So check her out. Check out her journals. If they resonate with you, I highly, highly recommend purchasing one or all of her journals. So let's get into why I wanted to have this particular podcast. As I said, was in Jamie's group and she posted a prompt. And I love discussions where we have different points of view. I know a lot of people, most people take it personally and they're just like, oh, you should think like me. And no, even my own clients, if you've been a client of mine, I always tell you to trust yourself, trust your own intuition, trust your own instincts, follow your spirit guides, because what I do, what I learn, how I am may not resonate with you. And that is okay. It is okay to have differing opinions.
Yes.
Stop pushing away people just because they have a different point of view. Unless, of course, racism, no, like obviously, right?
There's certain lines to be drawn.
There's certain lines to be drawn here. But when it's something, like this, like what we're about to talk about, it's okay to have a different opinion. And I love hearing the differing opinions. So Jamie posted a prompt and I'm going to put it right there. Who in your life embodies a spirit or energy that you want to cultivate? How can you transform yourself in that direction? And I do love this prompt. Like it gets you thinking about things. It gets you mostly thinking about yourself and kind of, okay, what about me do I want to change? So I posted in the group that I don't embody the spirit or energy of anyone else because I really want to figure out what I want as a person and not base it on someone else. And I teach my clients this as well. It's very dangerous to kind of say, oh, well, I want to be like Susie because Susie is kind, Susie is smart, Susie is motivated, and I strive to be like Susie. Well, it's dangerous because Susie, one, you don't know where Susie's motivation is coming from, right? We all go through our own things. Susie could be people pleasing, which is why you see her as so kind, right? She's always so giving and she's always so lovely and she's baking cookies for the bake sale and she's doing and she's doing and she's doing. But is that coming from a place of I have it to give, or am I pouring from an empty cup? And if Susie decides I no longer want to pour from an empty cup, or something happens in Susie's life and she's no longer as giving, are you going to look at Susie and say, oh no, what happened to Susie? And now I don't want to be associated with Susie, or, what's going on here? So it's kind of like we don't know where their motivation is coming from. Yes, it's a good thing, even positive attributes. It's an amazing thing, right? But we don't know where it stems from. It could be coming from trauma, especially if it's a lot of people pleasing, a lot of motivation. Someone who's very ambitious, you might look at them and go, oh my gosh, they're so ambitious. They're always doing all the things. They have all of these degrees and moving up the corporate ladder. And this is coming from personal experience, right? But the reason that they're doing that can come from trauma. It can come from not wanting to be in a position that, family members were in, or they were on the outside looking in, or they experienced things in their childhood, and now it's a way for them not to experience that, rather than addressing the trauma and the wound. So although it's a good thing, ambition's good, motivation's good, it might not be coming from a healthy place. And then when inevitably they kind of change, because we're all people, we're all changing, especially if they start a healing journey and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this anymore. Now you're looking at them like, what happened? Why did they change so suddenly? What's going on? So that's the first thing. The second thing is we fall into this kind of comparison loop. And it's very dangerous to go, oh, going back to Susie, I want to be like Susie. Because then if you fall short, and I air quote that because we can do as much as we want to do, we can do as much as we can do. It doesn't mean you're falling short. But if we perceive ourselves to fall short, now we're in this kind of comparison trap, in this comparison loop of, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing what Susie is doing. So it's a good starting point to say, Susie is kind. Susie is ambitious. Susie is, all these amazing things. But instead of saying, how can I be like Susie? I think it's better to say, I like these attributes in Susie. Where in my life can I do better so that I can also have these attributes and be able to, transform myself in that direction. But go ahead, Jamie. You can speak. I know I said a lot.
I mean, no, I loved hearing it. I loved hearing it, and I loved when you had a different opinion than me on this prompt. First of all, I want to say how hilarious it is that people often give examples of a person with a random name, and it just happens to be Susie. I just think that I just think that's so funny that we often use that name, Susie. Who is Susie? Poor
I don't know who Susie is, but she is very popular.
Susie is a popular girl, okay, because she gets mentioned in all the examples. But no, I love everything that you said, because it takes what I'm saying to the next level. And you and I think very deeply about these things, and we're able to dig and pick apart and kind of go deeper than just this prompt, right? Because we are both holistic wellness practitioners. This is what we do. This is what we live and breathe. So we're able to pick apart anything and find the lightness and the darkness in it.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with everything that you were saying. It can be a slippery slope to idolize somebody, compare yourself to somebody, like you said, if they fall from grace, where is that idol, that person that you looked to that you can no longer look to? And if that person changes who they are you to change with their every whim? Of course not. And I'm so glad that you brought this up, because some people don't spend enough time with themselves. And the only thing they can do is look to someone else. And that can be confusing. And it can actually be devastating to look to someone else, because you rob yourself of your own personal joy by comparing yourself to someone else. Just like we said in the intro of this show, yeah, we're both doing a lot of the same things. We have similar mindsets when it comes to things, but we do things completely different. My journals are completely blank with lines, and the cover is a different piece of my artwork every single time. So I'm focused on the art. I'm focused on you creating your own journaling practice. Yours may be filled with words and may, give more guidance to someone. So it's you can have both and love them both. And I just think it's important that, people understand that life is not black and white all the time. Both opinions fit together and make the whole. So when you do look at someone that you want to embody, I think it can be healthy, especially if you're coming from a place and coming from an environment where there was nobody around you who's doing well, or doing something outside of the box, or doing something that interesting that you could possibly see yourself doing, and find the energy and the likeness within that person that you like. I'm currently living in Columbia, South Carolina, right? And
We both
not
are.
okay. So you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, so Columbia, South Carolina, I consider this to be a small city, but to some, but that's because I grew up military. We've been all over the country. We've been in major metropolitan areas. I consider this to be a small city. Some consider this to be the big city. So if you go to some of these rural areas that are surrounding us, the idea of reaching a level of greatness is getting a job at the local factory. You did it. You landed. You got it at the local factory. Oh my goodness. So and so doesn't work at the gas station anymore. That job opened up for you. It's great because that's their limited perspective with that particular environment. Now, of course, we know there's TV and there's the internet now, so they can see more of that. But just imagine back in the day when there was none of that and you could only aspire to what you could see. And so now that the world is so much more open to what you can aspire to, I think it can be so great to aspire to be like someone that you admire, and pick out the qualities in them that you're interested in them. Why are you attracted to them? Why are you attracted to their lifestyle or their persona or their image? And how can you go in that way? Are you looking at that person because they're happy and they do the things that they like and they're unapologetic with who they are and they show up as themselves, authentic in every place? Okay, so if you're looking to me, for instance, you're like, wow, Jamie's an artist and she paints and she does what she loves, but you don't like art. Maybe you like mechanics, but you're going to show up with an energy that you've seen within me to put yourself into it and show up as the best mechanic or whatever it is that you want to be. You know what I mean? So it's embodying the spirit, it's embodying the energy, it's moving in a like direction and not necessarily mimicking that person thing for thing.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that's where it becomes a slippery slope is instead of um you know, you know how they say surround yourself with who you want to be, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Surround yourself with the people who are already doing the thing that you want to do. Because when you surround yourself with them, you see how they move and you start to kind of emulate that a little bit and
Mhm.
move, like get tips and suggestions and things to move in that direction. But the slippery slope comes in where, like I said, you start to compare yourself and
Mhm.
forget that you are on your own journey.
Right.
Just because Jamie, and just using you as an example, just because Jamie, started this business, 2 years ago and it's taken off and she's a millionaire, speaking into existence, um, it doesn't mean that you're going to do the same thing and follow the same path. So if you are 2 years in and you're still kind of trying to find funding and trying to gain your footing and find an audience or whatever your likeness thing is, you're going to get discouraged because you're now
Mhm.
comparing. Well, Jamie did it in 2 years. Okay, but that's Jamie. You are on
Mhm.
your own journey. You have to figure out your niche. You have to get your foot in the door. You have to do things because you don't know where Jamie started. You don't know if, what, she had a different platform. This is her second act, and she had a different platform doing hair, and her hair followers followed her over into her blissful company, and now she's not really starting from scratch. So it's not
Mhm.
she's 2 years in and now she's a millionaire. It's she's 10 years in because she had this whole hair thing going on and they followed her over. So it's a very important to kind of, yes, emulate, but remember that you are on your own journey and we don't know everyone's story. We can meet
Yes.
someone and we don't know what their past looks like. We don't know what they are going through because people in general are very, very good at masking. We could be going through the pits of hell, and I'll come on this podcast looking amazing.
Girl, agreed.
You would not know that listen, 5 minutes before I press record, I was in the bathroom bawling you wouldn't know.
Right.
Because we are very good at masking. We show people what we want them to see and not everything, even if we're living in our authentic truth, right? So I'm very big on living my authentic self. I'm very open about a lot of things in my life. There's certain things that I still keep to myself that I don't share with everyone. And it's mainly because we also deserve our privacy, right? It's not
That's
that I'm
right.
being inauthentic. It's just, it's private.
Right.
I have family members that don't know half of what I go through. It's private. So it's not like, we're lying when we're masking up. It's like, no, there's this thing that's going on in my life that really has nothing to do with you. You don't need to know about it. I'm going through it. If I'm ready to speak out about it at some later date, then fine, but let me move through it. So you don't really see all of that. So that's where the danger comes in, is like, all right, yes, I want to emulate these qualities. Just don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself to other people, because we really we don't know. We only see what's on the surface. So I love that we get to kind of surround ourselves and think really deeply. And that's really what the prompt is about. It's like, we have to think deeply, not only about the people that are in our lives and what about them that we like, because this prompt, if you really think deeply, it's like, oh, but I have this friend and they're awful. I should probably get rid of them, right? It makes you think about the people in your life. Like, all right, well, I like this person because A, B, C, and D, but Johnny over here, I might stop talking to Johnny because he got issues, and I don't want that around me. I want this circle of people who are striving or are already living where I'm striving to be. So
yes, I agree with that 100%. Like, a journaling prompt can open you up to the rabbit hole of other things to think about. That's what girl, that's what I love about journaling. I love going deeper and pivoting and things like that. And even if, right, you made a mistake, and let's not even call it a mistake. Let's say you decided to compare yourself to someone else. You decided to look up to someone who didn't meet your expectation of who you thought they were. That's teaching you a lesson too.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, I didn't like that. Let me move in this different direction. It reminds me of this conversation I was having with a friend the other day. And she was talking about her wanting to do journal scripting. So, scripting out her life within her journal. And she had some fear around doing it. And in talking to her, I discovered that her fear was because of the permanence she felt in writing it down. She felt like, what if I am calling in something that I don't actually like or I don't actually want? And what I told her is, it's okay to rewrite your script. You can make edits, you can pivot, you turn the page and say, oh, she thought she wanted this, but she didn't, as if you are the main character in a movie. So the same way you wrote that is the same way that you can pivot. The same way that people make a vision board is the same way that they can update and edit their vision board. Everything is not permanent. We're all on a path, on a journey, and you can choose to pick up a stick on your journey and later on decide that it's annoying to carry and drop it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's editable.
Is.
We've got whiteout in this life and erasers and pencils and we can change whatever we want. We are allowed to change our mind, and it's okay to start over. It's okay to, to go at it a different way than you ever thought that you would. That's the beauty of life, and that's the beauty of growth, on this journey.
And give yourself grace whenever you feel like you've fallen down or done something that you shouldn't have done. Give yourself the grace to say, I now realize where I don't want to say went wrong, but I went down a path I didn't want to go. And now let me backtrack and go down the right path. And
Mhm.
it's okay. It's, that's life, that's growing. And I love
Mhm.
the thing you said about the vision board and changing it, because actually my vision board, I have little round Velcro things on them where I can take them off. Because yes, I do change my
Ooh,
mind.
love
I do
it.
listen, I change my mind. It's a whole if we're thinking in a calendar year, it's a whole year, January through December. In May, I'm probably not going to feel the same way I did in January about something else. So my little things are on Velcro because I'm going to peel it off and I'm going to fix it and change it and pivot and do what I need to do.
Exactly. Exactly. And take the lessons that you learned from the thing you didn't want and use them to propel you forward and realize, oh, you know what? I actually needed that experience because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have gotten this thing that I really do like.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And kind of figure out, dig deep. Why did I want this thing in the first place?
Oh, that's
Right?
good.
Like,
Yeah.
why did I want it? Because obviously, if it's something you really and truly want, like it's really something your soul wants, you're not going to change it. It's going to be it's something that's, I want to work for this. I want to, be a healer. Now, the way that I heal people might change, but
Hmm.
the fact that I'm a healer isn't going to change.
Right.
So, digging deep and finding out, okay, what about this thing that I wanted? Why did I want that? And kind of incorporating that into your next thing. Because you may say, oh, well, I actually wanted, let's say it's whatever, television. I don't know. I actually wanted some entertainment, but I don't want that anymore because I want to get out of the house and find my entertainment outside around other people. So it's
Mhm.
like, all right, it's like why do we want the things, and kind of building off of that.
Yes, and like you said, give yourself grace and knowing that you are a different person in every stage of your life. What you wanted at 10 years old is not the same thing you want at 30, 40 years old. It just can't be.
It's
So
not.
it's okay and it's not being inauthentic to change yourself and to change your mind and to change who you are and who you want to be at any moment.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
actually being more authentic because you're not falling into this trap of, well, and I'll use myself as an example. I wanted to be an interior decorator, but then I was like, no, they don't really make money. I'm going to be an accountant because, I grew up, if you listen to this podcast, you know this, but I grew up, poor in projects, New York City, didn't have much. I wanted to make money. That was my goal. I wanted to make money.
Mhm.
So I went into business. I got the degrees. I'm an accountant, and I've been an accountant, and I've been an accountant for years, right? Because that's where I started. That's where I am now. However, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I ain't gonna do it. I don't want to do it. So, and I'm being authentic to myself in saying, I don't want to do it. How can I change it? Which is why I started
Right.
this whole mindful magical moments company, because I'm making my pivot. Now, um, if I fell into the trap of comparing myself with other people, I could be like, well, it's taking me forever to do it, and I'm just going to give up and I'm going to stay an accountant.
Mhm.
No, I'm not. My journey is different. I'm a single mom as of 3 years ago, unfortunately. I'm a single mom and I have a son to take care of. I can't just up and quit my accounting job and just move into this and not know how I'm going to feed him, in the next couple. That's not realistic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm slowly making my company my main source of income, and it's going to take me a while, and that's okay. I have to build the audience. I have to build, the trust and all of that. And that is fine. Now, if I fell into the trap of comparing myself, well, oh my gosh, other people, they quit their, as a matter of fact, I have a friend who was an accountant, Virgo, just like me, an accountant. She has no kids though. She quit her job,
Her life is
moved,
different.
did all the, like, great, good for her. I am so proud of her. She is doing amazing things. And I tell her that all the, like, I am so, but I will never compare myself to her because her life is different from mine.
Right.
So it's like we are on the same trajectory. I love how outspoken she is. And that's another thing. This is where the kind of, who embodies the spirit comes into play. because she is very outspoken. I am not an outspoken person. I am
How'd
so
you get to be a
introverted.
Virgo then, girl? You must be, are you an August Virgo?
I'm an August Virgo.
I knew it. She's a September Virgo, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Because I was like, wait a minute, the math is not mathing.
So I'm an August
Okay, I
Virgo.
get it.
I'm
Okay.
very
Y'all are a little bit
introverted.
different. Y'all are a little bit different.
We are. I actually hated my voice. Fun fact, she was the one who pushed me to start my podcast 2 years ago.
Wow.
I absolutely hated my voice, but I did a meditation for her something. She's like, oh my gosh, your voice is amazing. You should do a podcast. I'm like, what? Ew, no. I don't want to hear me. No one wants to hear me. What are you talking about? And I'm very much like, no, don't look at me, so, but I started it. And again, my journey was slow. I started with audio only because I did not want to be on camera. And now here we are. Like, I'm embodying the spirit of my friend because she is just doing so much amazing things. It's okay to do that. Like, embody the spirit, but do not compare.
And do it your way. That's right.
Do it your way.
I love it. I can't wait to meet her.
She's in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she moved to New Orleans. But yes, I will, we'll stay in touch, make a trip. Who cares? I love to travel.
Yes.
I'm a traveler. But so yeah, it's okay to change, and back to being your authentic self, change what you want to do if it's what you want to do. Don't stay in the trap. Like, I'm not staying in the trap of, well, I've been an accountant for the past 20 something years. I'm not going to age myself. So I'm just going to stay an accountant because I got all these degrees in student loans and accounting. So I might as well. No. I'm not doing that. I don't like it. It's not for me anymore. It got me to where I am, where I can be self-sufficient. I can be, and I know a lot of people aren't in this position. So I don't want anyone to take this as like bragging or anything. It's just where I am in my journey right now.
Right.
So I can be a single mom. I can afford to pay the bills on my own. I'm not, struggling, wondering where anything is coming from at this moment because of my accounting degree. It doesn't mean that I'm being inauthentic by having, that as my kind of side thing, because I know eventually it's going to go away.
Exactly.
I just have to make these steps because I have responsibilities.
That's right.
Which he will be 18 soon. So responsibilities.
They will change. They won't end. But mine is 18 now too, and we're doing this whole college thing. So
right, the college thing. Oh my God.
Yeah. Get ready for that. The next phase.
It's like, and I call my life acts, right? So the accounting act is over. Now I'm in act 2.
Oh, like that. See, yes, Carla, that you got main character energy right there. Act 1, act 2. I like that.
Act 1, act 2. Act 3 will be when I'm, a little bit older and I'm ready to settle down. No, that's act 4, because act 3 will be when I'm traveling and doing my thing. And then act 4, I'll be settling down and creating a wellness center. I have plans. It's okay to have plans, and those plans can change. That's my plan for right now.
I love it.
Yeah. But it was so good having this conversation. I hope people really just realize that it's okay to have differing opinions.
Absolutely.
And still be, it's okay. Like, we're cool. It's fine. Like, it's great to get the different points of view because it'll make you see things in different ways. It's like, oh,
exactly.
I can do that. But you know what? That makes sense. And it's good. Like, let's not, don't automatically write people off because they have different opinions, different points of view. Again, there are lines to be drawn, but it's okay. And I think if we come together and kind of, sit down and talk about these different things, one, the world will be a much better place because yikes.
Yes.
But 2, it'll give you perspective on how to answer your prompts. Because it's like, you know what? I really didn't think about that, but let me think about it, jot it down, and kind of take the prompt deeper. And as you were saying in your journal, it's just blank lines. Whereas I have in my journal, there's exercises. So I have videos that go along with, the prompts. I have prompts, and then I have
Beautiful.
exercises and meditation videos. You scan the QR code, do the meditation and things that go along with it. And I even have a section under it that says dig deeper. So I would ask,
Love it.
a prompt question, and then there's a second kind of secondary question down at the bottom that says dig deeper, with a little bit more on how you can dig deeper into that prompt. So I always encourage people to just dig a little bit deeper, because when we reflect and, we're really touching the surface, we're really thinking about the conscious things. And it's really hard to get down to the subconscious level of what are we really feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So always dig a little bit deeper. Any prompt you come across, try to dig a little bit deeper into that prompt.
Yes. And the main point, I believe, I speak for myself and Carla, we just want you to journal. We just want you to practice this exercise and discover yourself. That's the main point. Wherever the prompt takes you, it takes you.
Yes. Yes. That's it. It's your journey. It is, your life, your journey, your world. Let it take you where it takes you.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay. So, do you have any last words for the people?
Just start writing. Even if you don't have any idea what to write, you've got a prompt or not, you feel in the prompt or not, just start writing and the words will definitely come to you.
Absolutely. Completely agree. Nothing to add. So, thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you, Carla.
And as I tell everyone, start with gratitude, end with love, and find your magical moment. And I'll see you next time.
Bye.